Hey there, everybody. This is Kevin from happycoding.io, and welcome to the final day of January. I've been participating in this event called January for a good chunk of the month, and it's this event where every day in January you get a different prompt, and each day's prompt is an idea for a creative coding project. So you go to January's website, you get the prompt, and you make something based on that prompt. So I've done quite a few of these. If you want to check them out, go to happycoding.io, check out the examples section. I made a few videos out of them as well, so you can check out the old videos as well. But not all of them have videos, so come to Happy Coding to see all of them. But yeah, today's the last day of January, so that means it's the last day of January. And today's prompt is kind of a funny one. It's search for Eno's oblique strategies, obtain one, and that is your prompt for today. So I did that. I Googled Eno's oblique strategies, and it turns out that it's this collection of cards, basically, that this guy, Brian Eno, I think, yeah, Brian Eno, put out as like a way to get creatively unblocked. And there are a few lists online of these cards as well. So you can see some examples here, like use an old idea or only one element of each kind. So the idea is for today's prompt that you would, pick one of these oblique strategies and make a sketch around that, or a creative coding project around that. So honestly, I've had quite a bit of trouble with this one. I have not really been able to find one that I really love or one that really clicked with me. I had originally planned on like doing it really organically and just going with the first one I found on like a random generator website, but man, that was tough. Nothing came to me, and I started to get really frustrated. So I kind of went on a walk and came back, and here we are. So I found this this like random generator website, so you can click here for like a random card, basically. So you can see a few examples here, and like I said, none of these really clicked with me. But I did see this one, and it kind of got stuck in my head. Remember those quiet evenings? And I for whatever reason, that this one kind of invokes one of them, evokes or invokes, maybe both, the idea of like going camping and sitting around a campfire. I used to do that quite a bit back in my younger days. So I think maybe what I'm going to do is create like a digital, like maybe a pixelated campfire, and it's very loosely based on this prompt, but I think that's okay. I think that's kind of in the spirit of all of this. So that's my goal, pixelated campfire. It's about as far as I got. I haven't drawn anything out, and all I have is my blank gray canvas here. So I know that I kind of want to play with the idea of maybe like a what's that thing called, like a particle system or a particle generator, where at the center of the fire it sort of spawns these like embers, I guess you might call them, or just like squares of the fire, because I want it to be kind of pixelated. So probably a few ways to do that. I could maybe do like a 2D array or something, but I think just for starters what I'm going to do is create a class and maybe call it like fire square or something. It's kind of a bad name, but whatever. And what will it take? It'll have a constructor, and it might take an x and a y, maybe. And maybe I'll say like this dot x equals x, this dot y equals y. And then maybe it'll have like a color, and let's get to that in a second. So I've got my class here, and maybe what I'll do is I'll create like an array of them. So maybe const fire squares equals empty array, and then let's see, so my canvas is 400 by 400. Maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll add a fire square here. So fire squares dot push, just to get something started, maybe width over 2, height over 2, just to get something right in the middle, and then I'll have like a draw function in here. And what will this do? This will draw a square at this dot x, this dot y, and maybe 25 pixels around. And then let me maybe do this for const fire square of fire squares, fire square dot draw. Okay. And of course, what do I got here? Fire square dot draw. It's not a function. Yes, it is. You're lying. Oh, well, duh. I need to call a new fire square here. JavaScript lets you make these kind of silly mistakes, but that's my fault. Okay, so there we go. There's my square. That's fine. And let me think, what do I want to do next? So I know that I probably want to move my squares up over time. So maybe what I'll do is like this dot y minus equals some number, 5. And let's just see. Yeah, okay. Seems fine. And I could decrease that a little bit, maybe just for now. And okay, I've got my sort of my particle working. So I need to maybe create new particles over time. So maybe with some random number, for some random chance, like random 1 is less than, I don't know, every, let's just give it a number and see what it does. So this will be 60 times a second, so it's probably too much, but whatever. So I want to maybe spawn the new fire squares at some random value. So what I can do is, let me go to the handy reference. And I think what I want, I could just use the random function, but I think I kind of want my fire to be kind of centered around a particular point. So what am I looking for? I think I'm looking for random Gaussian. And the mean will be like width over 2 with the standard deviation of some number. All right. So maybe what I'll do is const x equals random Gaussian of width over 2 as a starting point and some number, maybe 50 as a standard deviation. I never know exactly how this value is used, so I always have to play with it a little bit whenever I do use it. And then here's going to be x. So now every time draw is called, I will randomly add a new fire square sort of at a random x position. Let's just see what this does. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. So cool. I think maybe height over 2 is too far up. Maybe I'll do like 0.75, and I will get rid of this since my randomness will help me. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm not sure if this is going to end up looking pixelated or not, but I'll experiment once I get it kind of more finalized. I could also give each one a random speed, one thing at a time. So actually I think 0.1 might be too small. Maybe I'll do 0.25. So you can see that the values are sort of centered around width over 2, and they're kind of more common at width over 2, whereas if you go out here, you don't really see them happen as much towards the edges. All right, good enough. So what do I want to do next? A few things. So maybe I'll just try to come up with random speed just to see what that looks like. So I'll give each fire square a speed and then subtract speed from its y each time. Ooh, I like that better. I also might base the speed off of how far away the x is, maybe. I think it might end up looking pretty cool, but we'll see. All right, cool. So one thing I know I need to do is right now, I am creating my new fire squares each frame, but I'm never removing them. I'm never deleting them, even though they go off the edge of the screen. So what I want to do is check whether something goes off the edge of the screen and then remove it from the array when I no longer need it, so that my computer doesn't like use up all my memory. It'll probably take a while for it to like be noticeably slower, but it will eventually get too slow, especially if I would like increase this number by quite a bit. So how do I want to do that? I think in here I want to check if my fire square is off the screen. So like if fire square dot y is less than some number. So maybe I'm going to make a nice magical value up here. So it's 25. Maybe I'll do like const square size equals 25 and then put that down here. I could also make this a variable and set it to a random number. We'll see. So if it's less than what? Negative square size, then I want to remove it from my array. And okay, so since I use this kind of for loop, I think it might get gross if I try to remove it. So I'm going to convert this into a normal looking for loop. So and another thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to iterate backwards. So, and I'll explain why in a second. So instead of going from 0 to length minus 1, I'm going to go from length minus 1 to 0. And subtract 1 each time. Whoops. So the reason I'm iterating backwards is, so I'm going to remove the array, or I'm going to remove my index here, and I think that's the splice function, splice I1. I could be messed with spice. That's funny. So if I was iterating forwards from 0 to length, if I removed an element from my array while I was iterating, then all of the next indexes in the array would shift down by 1. So if I removed index 2, then index 3 becomes index 2, index 4 becomes index 3, and so on. But the problem with that is after I shift down the array by removing one element, I still need to do something with the element that would have been next. And with a forward for loop, I will end up skipping over that element. So you might not even notice it depending on the speed, but what would happen is if I remove an element, then I would skip over the next element and I would end up not drawing it. So that's why I'm iterating backwards. Maybe I should have done it forward just to demonstrate what that would look like. But if you're coding along, you can try to do the for loop the other way to see what I mean. But now what I have is fire square. I'm removing the element when it goes off the edge of the screen, and let's see what this does. Cool. So I mean, you kind of can't tell visually. One thing I might do is maybe I'll get rid of this negative just so we can see it kind of pop away. Yeah, there you go. So you can see them kind of going away right at the top, and I actually kind of like that effect. I might keep it that way for a second. Yeah, okay. So next, what do I want to do? I want to give these a color. So right now they're just kind of white. I want to make them like red and yellow and orangey. Let me think about how to do that. I think what I'll do is, let's try something. So, so I kind of want to give them a random shade between red, yellow, orange. And I could probably calculate that myself, but I think what I'll do instead is be lazy and use this magical Lerp color function. And maybe throw some randomness at this. So maybe what I'll do is I'll have red and yellow, and I'm pretty sure orange ends up being right in the middle of those two. And I'll Lerp between the two. Let's work our way towards that first. So let's see. So maybe I'll make a variable up here for like let orange color and let, wait, I want that to be like yellow or red. Let's start with red. And let yellow color, then I'll create those here just so I have them. Red color equals color, and then RGB, and yellow color equals color. What is this going to be? 255 red, 255 green, I think, and 0 blue. Pretty sure. Actually, orange might end up having some blue in it. Let's check. No, so orange, red, orange. Okay, orange has no blue, but it is like very red, not very, actually kind of green. Yeah, okay, so 255, 165. Okay. Maybe I'll have this as a third color and Lerp between all three of them, something like that. But let's, like I said, one thing at a time. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. So one thing I want to do is right away do like this dot color. Maybe I'll just start with random red, red color, orange, or yellow color, I called it. So I'm going to choose randomly between red and yellow for each of my squares. And that doesn't do anything because I didn't actually use it. It's a pretty important part of the process to actually use the things you create. And yeah, okay, it's red and yellow. Sure enough is. And yeah, I don't hate it. It's fine. I think I might have to play with some of the speeds and maybe the Gaussian nature, or maybe whatever. We'll one thing at a time. I keep getting ahead of myself here. Here's what I want to play with. I want to play with the idea of lerping between these two. So what does lerp color take again? It takes color, and then an amount between 0 and 1, right? So if I give it my two colors and a random value, that will be kind of a random color between the two colors. So red color, yellow color, random 1, something like that. Ooh, yeah, I like that quite a bit. Nice. All right, man, that's cool. I'm into that. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Okay. So let me think about this. What do I want to do next? So I'm wondering if I like that the squares overlap. I think maybe what I should do is increase this number by even more. Let's just see what it does. Maybe. It's kind of, I don't know, it's not quite as much of a bell curve as I was hoping for, and I think that comes down to my Gaussian thing. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right. So it takes a mean and a standard deviation. Yeah. I could play with the number I pass into here. So instead of 50, maybe it's 25. I think this is gonna like kind of decrease my yeah, it's just kind of it's still kind of rectangular looking. Another reason for that might be, yeah, okay, it's because like my squares kind of live forever, and that's okay maybe, but maybe what I want to do is give them a lifetime so that they don't all go off the very tippy top of the screen. Maybe they kind of fade out or something. That sounds like a fun idea. So let's see, I might say this dot life equals, I don't know, some value, some number, and then in here I'll say this dot life minus equals some number again. Let's just say 1, and I can maybe change this number around. And then I say if they went off the top of the screen, or if or if fire square dot life is less than 0. Maybe. Let's see what this does. So I think, yeah, you can kind of see it. For some of the slower moving ones, I think maybe 100 was too much. Maybe I do 25. That just kind of made my whole rectangle be a little bit smaller. It's still not quite looking like a fire like I would have liked. So maybe what I do is, oh man, it's going to get goofy. I might play with some of the transparency of my squares. Let's see. So maybe what I do is say const, what is this, opacity equals, and then maybe I'll map from what? From this dot life between, what is it, 0 and 25 to 0 and 255. Maybe fill, oh man, this might be gross. Does fill take color and an opacity? Maybe that would be nice. Gray alpha colors. I don't think it does. There's alpha values I'm looking for, so I can give it a gray and an alpha, but I can't give it a color and an alpha. Darn. How about the color function? Can you take a color and an alpha? Gray and alpha again, no. Okay, so I guess I need to split that color up. It's kind of gross. I don't love it. I could work this into Lerp color somehow. No, I'm just gonna stop messing around and do it. So what do I want to do? I want to say, maybe I'll say like const current color equals, and then, oh man, what do I want to do? I want to say like, actually, I think I can just do it directly. So I need to fill with, because I'm not messing with the stroke at all, but we'll see. Let's see. Let's just do red, this dot color, green, this dot color, blue, this dot color, and then let me change this to alpha. I like that better. And alpha. Format, format, format. And so now my squares should what? They should get more more transparent as they get older. So while I'm here, maybe I'll do stroke 0 alpha, and then yeah, that's good. Okay, let's just see what this does. Ooh. Maybe. I mean, it's definitely doing something. Whether it's what I want or not, I don't know. But let's try a couple things. So first of all, think my life is too short. That's getting depressing, man. 100 might be too much. Maybe I do like 50. It also kind of depends on the height of my window, which I guess I should change that now since I always forget to do that until the end of the video, but there's no sense in wasting all that white space. Yeah, that's looking kind of fiery. Another thing I might do is make the make the squares that show up in the middle a little bit faster. Maybe. Let's see. It might look gross if they're all kind of the same speed, but let's just try it and see what happens. So right now I assign her speed between 1 and 5. 5 might be a little too fast, but let's try something. So maybe what I do is what do I want to do? I want to say like I want to map between what? So between the distance from the middle. Oh man, it's kind of gross. So I'm going to take the value, like the distance between the center of the screen and my X. So if it's over here, it'll be higher. If it's over here, it'll be lower. And I want to go from, I guess from like, I don't know, from some arbitrarily high number, like because of Gaussian, it's going to be kind of random, and I don't think there's really even any guarantee of what the max will be, but let's just try 100 and what, 0. So I'm going to go from 100 is like the furthest away, 0 is the closest, and then I want to go further away will be 1, closest will be 5, something like that. Oh man, let's try that. I don't. Whoa, that's funny. Yeah, so 100 wasn't quite enough, so that's funny. It went out of the range, so it actually went negative. That's hilarious. All right, I'll fix that in a second. But I think this is looking a little more fiery. Maybe let me change this. I don't know. What do you think? Is that fiery? Does that look like a fire? Or does it just look like squares? I don't know. Let's see. I mean, it looks kind of cool. It might not be exactly what I had in mind, but when is it? When is it what I had in mind? I don't think that ever happens. So let me play with some of these numbers. So maybe what I do is RGB, maybe make it like a bluish kind of dark night. Maybe throw some R in there, make it a little purpley. Maybe. Maybe I would add a ground. Let me maybe think about that. So maybe I'll do like no stroke and fill. Maybe make it really dark. And what do I want to do here? I want to do like a rectangle from 0 to and a height of like height times 0.75, like where I spawn them. Maybe I should put that in a variable, but whatever. And then go from width to, I mean, this value doesn't really matter either, but height times 0.25, so fill it out. Let's see. Maybe. I'm not even sure if you can see it in the video because they're both so dark. I'm kind of into that, but yeah, I'm gonna go for the understated route. If you can't see it, I'm sorry, but like there's like a black horizon right here, and I think I like that. Okay, so what do I want to do next? I think I do like that the effect that fire has. I think maybe I'll do a couple things. I might slow it down. So first of all, actually, I'm still getting kind of negative values. Maybe I should probably put this in a variable. Whatever. Maybe I'll do a pass later and refactor things. But All right, let's just let that run for a second. Yell at me if you see one going negative. But what do I want to do? I want to maybe change this 5 to slow it down a little bit, because that 5 is quite fast. Maybe 3. And then I'll increase my max life to 100. I should probably put those in variables. Yeah, let me put them in variables up here. So like fire, I guess I'll just call it square life. I guess I didn't really need to call it fire squares. I don't have any other kind of squares, but whatever. Square life equals whatever I said. 100, make this easier to customize. And this dot life minus equals 1. Yeah, I mean, that seems reasonable. I'll just adjust the life instead of the speed that the life increases. Man, that's metaphorical again. But I'm into this. I think I dig this. I was kind of skeptical of like the overlapping squares, because I kind of wanted it to be more like a pixelated thing where they move up by like chunks. Like each square moves up by one sort of cell in a grid, but I think that would end up looking kind of goofy now that I'm looking at this. So I think I like this. I might say no stroke here though. Let's just see what that looks like. I don't hate it, I don't love it. I kind of can't tell. I think I might like the stroke. Another thing I might try is getting kind of gross, but I could try, let me comment this out. I could do red times 0.5, green times 0.5, blue times 0.5. So like my stroke will be just a little bit darker than my color will be quite a bit darker, I guess. Wait, what did I do? Oh, fill. I need this to be stroke. So you can see how much darker it is. It's kind of convenient, even though it's an accident. I kind of can't tell the difference between what I just wrote and stroke of 0. So I'm going to stare at this. I'm going to hit play, see if I can notice a difference. And it's real subtle. But maybe I'll increase this from 0 to 32. I kind of don't love 0. I like the kind of gray tone. You know, it's fine. I could obsess over exactly what to use for my stroke, but it really doesn't matter for the overall effect. So, all right, what do I want to do next? I want to, so right now my fire's coming kind of out of nowhere. So maybe what I want to do is create, I don't know, some logs or something. What the heck does the bottom of a fire look like? Could maybe put some rocks down there. Maybe a rock circle. Maybe just a red circle or a brown circle. Maybe just two, like an X of logs, something like that. You know what? I'm gonna Google Campfire, because I don't know what they look like. I've seen them a million times, but I kind of can't picture it in my head. Yeah, it's kind of logs at the bottom, kind of stones at the bottom. I'm trying to think of like how I want to programmatically do that though, in a way that will look interesting and not just have, you know, block of brown at the bottom. Some of these pictures are pretty depressing. Yeah. I mean, I could just put a brown log. Let's see. So what do? I draw my sort of blue background. I draw my ground. Let me actually comment some of this stuff out. Ground, or not out, but add comments. Maybe I'll add a log. So what do I want to do here? I want to do, maybe I'll put a stroke of, it's going to be down on the ground, which is purpley 30, which is 32 itself. Maybe I'll go back to 0, we'll see. And fill of brown, I never remember what this is. Brown RGB. And is this the website that scares me? No, this one's fine. So I want like brown. Brown looks kind of too red for me. Maybe I want sienna. Maybe this. So I'm filling it with that brownish color. Oh my goodness, I can't type. And then I want to draw my log. And where's my log? Where do I need my log to be? I need to draw rect of, I don't know, x is going to be like width times some value, 0.25, height times some value, maybe it's 0.75 would put it like right at the, like, what's it called, the horizon. So do I want it below the horizon or above the horizon? Let's just try below, and then a width of I don't know, over 2, width times 0.5, and then a height of what? Height times some number, so 0.2, 0.1, something like that. Maybe it shouldn't be 0.2, it should be maybe 0.1. It's gonna be pretty large. I think it should be actually smaller than that, but let's just see what this looks like. Nothing happened. Why? Stroke 0, fill of some value. I probably messed up one of these. X, Y, X, width, height. No, times 8. Would that be 0.8? Okay, I mean, it's something. I don't love it. Like I said, it just kind of looks like a brown rectangle instead of like a log, but it's something. Let's just play with some of these values. I don't hate that, I guess. 0.7 maybe, make it be a little above the horizon. 0.75, we'll put it right on the horizon. Maybe I'll add, you know what, I think I have an idea. I think what I'll do is I'll make, yeah, okay, I think I'll add 3 logs. Let's see if this works. Let's see if I can reason through this. So this one's a reasonable, sorry, I'm talking to myself a lot instead of actually explaining what I'm doing. I want to maybe make like a triangle of logs that maybe there's 3 logs kind of just stacked on top of each other. So let's call this one the bottom one, and what I'll do is I'll make the next one start at like 0.3 maybe, and 0.6 maybe, and go what? So 25 went to 75, so I want this to go to 0.6. I guess this will just be 0.3 again. We'll see. We'll see. What's this do? No, all of that was wrong. I guess that would be no, wrong again. Oh, wait, width, no, that's right, what did you do? So first, let's fix one thing at a time. So first of all, it's way too high, so let's try maybe 0.75. It's not bad, they're kind of too close. Maybe I'll move this one down a little bit. Maybe put this at 0.8. Fine, and then maybe move this one down to 0.75. Maybe I'll decrease their heights. It's kind of gross, kind of just throwing arbitrary numbers at it, but I don't hate that, so I'm going to keep it. And then what do I want? I want this one to be a little bit longer, so instead of 0.3, maybe I want them all to be 0.5? No, that doesn't make sense. No. I'm just throwing random numbers at it at this point. So I got to think about this for a second. So it went from 0.25, which is here, to 0.75. And then what did I want? So I went from 0.3, or from 0.25 to 0.3, which is, I guess, plus 0.05. And then this should be minus that times 2. Yeah, so actually this 0.4 actually makes sense to me. So that's why they're symmetrical. Okay, that's fine. And then maybe I'll add one more. And I'll put that at width times 0.35. I might fiddle with these numbers. Height times what? 0.8, 0.75, 0.7. Width times, I guess this would be 0.3, and height will be the same. So there, I mean, maybe. Kind of looks like a staircase going away. I kind of don't love that, but whatever. Maybe what I'll do is I'll make all of them a little bit smaller. So maybe I started at 0.35. Maybe I go to 4.5 and 5.5. Maybe I start at 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, just to have like some round number. Wait, 0.5 is way too, it'll be like 0, right? If I start right in the middle. So I want to definitely end at like 4.5. What did I have originally at? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I had them at 2.5, 3, 3.5. I think maybe what I'll do is 4.5. 3.5, 2.5. What's this look like? And then what do? I want this to be like right on the other side. So the width will be what? Width times 0.1. Go to 5.5? No, times 0.05. So let's just look at the middle, the top one. Yeah, maybe. And then 3.5 goes from 15 away from 0.5 to 15. So this would be 0.3. And this one I think would stay 0.5. Meh. I actually liked it better before. Let's put it back. That's too much. Is that right? No, one more. Yeah, maybe I don't like this third one. Maybe that's my problem. Yeah, okay. I'm going to stop messing around with it in a second. I think I'm going to move down though, 0.3, 0.35. So height times 0.75 is the top one. So maybe I go 0.8, 0.85. Maybe. I know I'm just kind of obsessing over the details and none of this actually matters too much. But I kind of want to, I don't know, I want to make sure that it looks right. But I think for the purpose of this video, I'll fiddle around with the exact numbers later. I'm going to stop just messing around with things that don't really matter. You can mess around with whatever, make the bottom of your fire look however you want to. And you've seen the process for how I'm messing with those variables. I'm going to play around with them more by myself later, but for now, this is good enough. So let me think. Is there anything else I want to add? I mean, it's already pretty fiery. I think people looking at this will, like, if I didn't frame it at all, I would just say, hey, look at this thing. I think they would be able to say, oh, that's a fire. So that's cool. It's always good when people can tell what the heck you're supposed to be doing. But let me experiment with a couple different things. So, I kind of want to play with the idea of stars in the background. And how do I want to do that? So I'm redrawing. I'm redrawing my frame each time. I'm drawing fire on top of the stars. So I could either like create an array of stars, or I could draw to like a canvas, like a graphics object. Or I could draw more stars over time. Nah. Or I could not go with stars and I could go with something different, maybe like a grid in the background, something like that. But I think I want stars. So what do I want to do? Maybe I will create that graphics. So stars, that's fine. and then stars equals what? Create graphics, I think. And let's do, I can just do width and height here. And let me draw some stars. So let me remember how this works. Create graphics. Do I need like a start draw and end draw thing? I don't see it. Maybe that's just a processing thing. I never remember, but let's just try something. So maybe I'll do for let I equals 0, I is less than some number, I plus plus, and just draw a bunch of random stars. So first let's do stars dot background 32 0 64, taking it from down here, so that's this color, and then draw random stars. So maybe I do points, maybe I do tiny little rectangles. Let's do points. Point, random width, random height, and do I need my stroke to be white? Maybe. And then here, what I do is image stars 0 0. Let's see. No, not at all. Why didn't that work? Oh, well, because duh. Here, I need stars dot and stars dot. Ooh, yeah, I'm into that. That's sweet. And yeah, all right, I don't have to like recalculate my stars every single time or anything, every frame, because I'm just drawing this like static graphics. What happens? How many stars can I have before it looks silly? Ooh, I think that's cool. I think that takes it kind of to the next level. That's nice. It'll be different every time, so that's always cool. I like randomness. Nice. All right, I'm gonna call that. That's pretty cool. I like that. I kind of want to think about the ground though. Let me think about this for a second. So I could do something like, so I have like stars here. I could do something similar just with like green down here, maybe like green dots. Maybe let's do something here. Let's say let ground maybe, and maybe my ground equals create graphics of width and what, height times 0.25. Is that what I did? I think so. Yeah, down there. And then ground dot background 32, and then maybe I'll do something very similar to down here where it's just kind of not stars, but you can call it, I don't know, grass maybe, where I do 0 ground, and what do I want here? I want ground dot width, ground height. I mean, width is the same, but whatever, ground dot height. There you go. So I'm drawing 1,000 random black dots to my ground, and I don't know what that'll end up looking like. Maybe it'll look dumb, but let's hit play and see what happens. I can't see anything because I didn't actually draw my ground. Goof. Let's comment this out for a second. Let's do image ground at 0 and y of height times 0.75. Again, I should probably put that in a variable because I'm using it all over the place, but whatevs. And do I see that at all? I do if I put my head, or put my eyes like directly next to the screen, but I kind of can't tell. It's kind of really subtle. So what do I want to do here? Maybe I'll make it lighter. It gives it some texture. It's kind of still not super interesting. And that now it just looks like it's stars. Do I like that or not? I'm gonna go with no. No, I don't think I do. And let me think about this. So another thing I could do is I could play with the horizon a little bit more. All right, one thing at a time. I keep lying about doing one thing at a time. I don't hate this. I don't love it though. So maybe what I'll do is, so it's stroke, or now it's just like kind of white. So maybe I'll do RGB, and maybe it's a random number between 0 and something, between 0 and 100. Meh. Kind of looks too shiny. Maybe I could do, I don't know, maybe a random line. It's kind of a funny effect. Maybe. I don't know if I hate that. That's not terrible. I don't hate it. I think that might be it. It looks kind of grassy. Maybe. That's a little bit of a stretch, but it's something. You know, it's got some texture to it. So cool. I'm calling that done. Let's see. So it's been almost an hour. I could kind of keep iterating. I could keep adding textures, and that's kind of what I want to do. I'm debating whether that's an interesting video or not. And I don't know, man. You're the one watching it, so you know you've seen how I approach the process, and my goal with these videos is to sort of demonstrate that process in all of its fun and not fun moments, so that y'all can get a better idea of like what it actually looks like to write code and feel like you're not so alone when you are doing things like fiddling with parameters for half an hour to make your freaking logs look like logs. But if it doesn't sound super interesting for you to keep watching and watch me fiddle with, I don't know, maybe I'll hit the logs next, or maybe add some mountains in the background, or maybe I'll play with the red and the yellow and the orange fire things. That's okay. You can pause it here or stop watching, and that's totally fine. But if the idea of Bob Ross style coding is something you're into, then you know keep watching with me. But I think I want to keep going. I'm into this. I like this more than I thought I would. Honestly, I was pretty grumpy earlier when I was getting into these like Eno's oblique strategies. I'm not like I don't consider myself an artist, and I definitely don't consider myself like a capital A artist, like someone who thinks very deeply about what it all means. So some of these ended up seeming a little bit convoluted to my brain. So I was pretty grumpy earlier, but now that I see this, like I don't know, I'm into this. This is pretty cool looking. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So let's see. Another thing I could do is, so that random kind of grass looks pretty cool. I could maybe try like random sticks, random like I don't know what you call them, like random little wood things at the bottom of the fire instead of these two big looking rectangles. That might be cool. What would that end up looking like? Yeah, just kind of end up looking like a rectangle of brown lines, though. I think let's turn this back up so I can kind of see it. Wait, what do I have now? No, I don't remember. 64 was 64 before. So yeah, I could just do this on like a smaller scale and put that here and have that be the logs, color them brown instead of green. Maybe. What happens if I put this all the way up? Maybe. It's kind of got that border effect. I think nah. Could maybe I don't know, I just keep going back and forth. Like I could make an X, like that's kind of the cartoony kind of style. Could just leave it, could make it kind of more random, give it a random color at least. Could go a little bit more abstract. I could maybe just draw like a couple circles there, make them rocks, maybe random shades of gray. Maybe make them ovals. Let's try that actually. So maybe just a familiar, just to see if I like the effect. So I got my logs here. Let me maybe draw some rocks here. Rocks. So what do I want? Maybe I want a stroke of 0. I don't know. Fill of some gray value 100, and then maybe I want a circle, and maybe I want it at x of width over 2. Height, what? Height times 0.75 maybe? That's the magic number I keep using. And some number, 25 maybe in size. So maybe 25 was too small. Maybe I want it to be 50. Maybe this 100 is a little dark. Maybe. And then what I can do is have a couple more. So like width times, let's just do something very similar. So like 0.4, 0.5, and circle width times 0.6, something like this. Height times 0.75. Again, I really need to put that in a variable, but whatever. Maybe. So maybe I'll decrease this 0.3, 0.7, spread them out a little bit more. That's way too much. 0.35, 0.45, 0.35, 0.65. I guess I should use point multiplier here as well, but it's okay. Maybe I need to move them down. 0.85, 0.85. Probably too much. Again, I'm back in the mode where I'm just fiddling with parameters until it looks kind of striking or interesting to me. That's not bad. I don't hate that. Could make them different colors. I could randomize them. I could make them a little bit smaller, I guess, maybe 40. I don't know, that doesn't really look like a, I kind of want it to look like a ring of rocks. I'm not sure that does. Could add some more, I guess. I could do like a grid of not logs, but like just kind of squares. Make it a little bit, make the down here itself kind of more pixelated. Let me think about that one for a second. What would that look like? So I could maybe do a for loop and draw some squares down there. Like a grid. Let's try that. So, oh man, I'm kind of wasting a bunch of energy here, but maybe instead of 2 rectangles, what I have is something like a loop that goes from what? Let log x equal what did I start at? Like width times 0.25. Log x is less than, what would this be? This would be like width times 0.75, I guess, times 0.75, and width, or wait, no, yeah, log x plus equals some number. So if it's 0.5, maybe I do plus 0.1, something like that. I might format this in a minute, but let me just get this out of the way for now. And then what do I want to do? I want to do a square from log x, and log y is what? Height times 0.8. I'm kind of redrawing this bottom log, times 0.8, and with a width times 0.05 and a height of, I don't know, height times 0.05. I'm kind of mixing my concepts here a little bit, but it'll all come together, or it won't, and I'll delete this code. Who knows? So what I'm hoping to see is like a pattern of squares. And what I see instead is an error because I'm dumb. And that's because I have space when I don't want a space. And I have a semicolon where I need a comma. Any other problems? And why are those, what? Why are they, what? Why are they circles? Square. What on earth? Square. What have you done? Square, log x, height, and then a width, and then a height. What on earth is happening? This is almost exactly what I expected to see, only I expected to see squares. Why on earth is that a circle? That is hilarious. And it's broken. Something bad is happening. But what is it? What have I done? All right, so there's two things happening. One is, this is circles, and the other is, my fire is gone. What? What happens if I get rid of you? Does the fire come back? No. What? Oh, did I comment out? Oh, I commented this part out. Okay, well that explains part of the problem. All right, my fire's back. That was just because I commented out code that I needed. Now let's put this back. Still circles. What on earth? This is a hilarious bug. I have no idea what's happening here. Oh, maybe. Oh. I think it's because this needs to be rectangle. Yeah, so I guess square. All right, P5, you're funny. What does square take? Yeah, it takes these weird extra parameters that I wasn't thinking of. So that was radius of top. All right, it was like the radius. So all right, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. It ends up being a square. I actually didn't know you could do that. So you can make like rounded squares if you want to. But anyway, that's funny. All right, I don't hate this kind of idea where my fire is a little bit more abstract and maybe I can throw some random shades of brown there. So that seems fine. I think I want one more maybe, so less than or equal to. Will that work? Yeah, good enough. It's a little off center actually because of the way I'm drawing my squares. You know what I'm going to do? P5, since you played a trick on me, I'm going to play a trick on you. Can I do rect mode? Yeah, this thing. Rect mode. So by default, I'm specifying the upper left corner, and instead I want to specify the center. So similar to how the circle function works, I'm going to treat my squares sort of as a center and then a radius or whatever it is. So what do I want to do? I want to do that here maybe. Rect mode center. I might need to do that in the ground. No, I don't. So let's just see what this does. All right, that's fine. I broke my top log, but that's okay. It's kind of expected. Is this more symmetrical. I think it looks more symmetrical to me. Let me do a couple things. Let me comment out that other log, and ooh, I think I already like that more. And all right, let me just double check that this is doing what I think it is. So look at it, stare at it, see if this is symmetrical. Now I'm going to run it without the center rect mode. And yeah, this is like shifted to the right. So I'm pretty happy with rect mode center. That's cool. I think I'm going to give these like random colors in a second, but do I want like another row of them? Why not? Why not? And I might change those to, yeah, whatever. We'll see. Let me think about this for a second. Actually, do I want to put this in another graphic so that I can do weird stuff with it, like put these all random without storing like a bunch of things in an array? Sure. Yeah, maybe. I kind of don't feel like it. I'm kind of being lazy. So what do I want to do? I could give them all like a fluctuating color. I could give them a random color every frame. What would that look like? Let's try that. Maybe they fluctuate from this brown to like maybe black. Where do I put that? Where do I have that? It's here. What do I want to do? Just to see if this works, I'm going to do like brown color equals color 160, 82, 45, right? And const black color maybe. All right, and then here maybe what I do is the same trick. So like fill lerp color from brown color to black color with a random number. So randomly between this color and black. I'm about to hit play. I think it might end up being too flashy. So if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, just be aware that this is coming and maybe don't look at these squares. Although I think as long as it's not the everything flashing, it should be okay. But here we go. It's not quite right, but I mean, there's an idea there. Something is happening. Maybe this is a little bit too dark. So maybe what I do is, oh man, let's do some quick math. What's 160 divided by 2 is 80. What's 82 divided by 2 is 41. 45 divided by 2 is about 22. Maybe. Yeah, it just kind of looks like it's flickering. It doesn't really look like it's, I don't know, like it's on fire or anything. So I think this might be a little bit too goofy. Yeah, I'm gonna call that a nah. But I don't hate like the different colors that they are. So I do like the idea of the random values. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to first, let's try fill. Let me put this back to, yeah, whatever. I'll just do it here. Brown color. I'm going to change all this code in a second anyway. So let me just fiddle with it for a second. So now they should all be the same color. Fine. And maybe what I'll do is let's experiment with the idea of another sort of row of them. So that will be very similar to this. And I could probably even do it in the same for loop, but whatever. So instead of going from 0.25 to 0.75, what I want to do is go from, I don't know, 0.3 to, what was it before? So it was 0.25, so is it to 0.7? Was that what that was before? Let's see. and that's because this needs to change. Height times 0.75 maybe. Ooh, that's not half bad. I don't hate that. Especially if I give them random colors. Yee. I think that's pretty good. All right, but let me maybe move this to another graphics. So here's what I'll do. I'll say stars, ground, let logs. Logs? Is that logs? We're calling it logs. That's my artistic representation of logs. So logs equals create graphics. What do I want these to be? It's not going to be quite width. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of a stamp. So I'm going to use width, and then what do I want? Height times some number. So this is 0.25. Maybe I do 0.1. And we'll see. I might end up changing that, but we'll see. So then I can move all this, I think. Let me move all of this up. And then I'll end up doing image logs here. So let me just put logs here to remind myself. It's an error, but that's good. So my logs is now canvas, so now I can say logs dot whatever I want. Logs dot stroke, brown color, fine. Logs dot fill. Here's where I might bring back my Lerp, but let me just do this for a second. So I want logs dot rect here and logs dot rect here, but then I need to think more carefully about exactly what I want my y values to be. So since this is 0.1, so I can do maybe, oh wait, this is height times 0.05, so I'm going to have, what is it? How many layers of this do I want? For now, let's start with 1, honestly. So let's do height times 0.05 here. And then what do I want to do? I want to do logs dot, do I want to do logs? It doesn't really matter. Since they're the same, so I don't care. And here's where it's going to be different. So I'm going to start, let's start at the top. So let's do 2, actually. Let's do 2. Let's start with the top set of, I'm calling these logs. Maybe I should call them log squares, but whatever. Logs. And what I'll say is this is 0. Wait, this is, no, that's height. This is 0. Right. So I'm picturing my logs graphics, and yeah, I want to draw my top log at the top of my logs graphics, so sure. And then height times 0.05 comes from the fact that this is 0.1. So yeah, okay, that might make sense. And then this is all right, but I want to change this to what? I want to change this to height times 0.05 actually, or I could do logs dot height times 0.5. That's probably cleaner. Logs dot height times 0.5. Okay, maybe. I'm not so sure. But then down here I want to do my image of logs, and it's going to have a what? An x of 0, a y of height times 0.7, so it's maybe slightly above the horizon. I can change that pretty easily after I get this working, and then that's all the parameters I need. All right, that's a lot. Let's just hit it and see what breaks. And miraculously, that did not break. It might be off center now because I'm not. Oh, I think that's funny. I might need to do logs dot rect mode center here. And in fact, I think that's the only place I need it. Whatever, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, all right, cool. But now that means that my y is off. So what do I want this to be? Instead of 0, this needs to be, let me make a variable here. So const log width and log height. So log x equals, so now I'm specifying in terms of the center. Is that what I want? No, let's not do this. Let's think about this for a second. Let's get rid of that. Let's go back to what it was before. So it's slightly off center because I am starting it at 0.25. I'm going to 0.75. That should work, I thought. Is that centered? No, now that's too far to the left. Do I care? Do I care if it's centered? I don't know, I kinda care. I don't really care. I care a little bit. Or am I going crazy? Is that actually centered? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy this into Microsoft Paint. You can't see this because I'm only sharing my browser tab, but this helps me kind of measure when I don't trust my eyes. So I've got about what, 125 on the left, and what do I have on the right? I've got only 100 on the right, so it is closer to the right edge, which is what I kind of thought from just looking at it. Okay. And why is that? Well, I start at 0.25. Oh, well, yeah, okay. So I start at 0.25, which is here. And then my last one is 0.75, which is here, which is like, of course this is going to be closer then, because now my left edge is 0.25, and my left edge here is 0.75, so my right edge here is actually 0.75 plus some number. So what I actually want to do is width times 0.2. I still don't think that's quite right. So if I want this to be 25% and I want this to be 25%, I'm not even sure that's possible with how I'm drawing my grid. You know what? I think I don't care. I think I could sit here and try to figure it out, but nah, I think I don't care. I think if it's off by a few pixels, it's totally fine. In fact, maybe I prefer it. You know what? I'm going to say it. Yeah, this was intentional. You're watching this video, so you know I'm lying, but people just seeing this don't know that. All right. What do I want to do next? I think I want to give these logs a random color next. So here's what I might do. I might play this trick that I played earlier, which is let's get rid of a couple things. Fill of Lerp color between my brown color. It's not actually a black color anymore, but maybe I'll fix that in a second. So that'll give me a random color between those two colors, and then let me do that here as well. And I sure hope this ends up looking interesting. Maybe. It's not terrible. I don't hate it. It's about It's my like glowing review of my own work. I don't hate it. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. So maybe I'll call this light brown color, dark brown color, dark brown color, and light brown color, light brown color, dark brown color, dark brown color. It's kind of a mess of gross code, but it's okay. I could do one more layer, maybe. Let's try it. I've already spent an hour and a half on this. I might as well just round on up to 2. So I want this to be times 0.15 maybe. I'll do one more layer, one more. Again, I might be able to collapse this into a single for loop, but it's fine. So I go from 0.3 to 0.25 to what, 0.2. And then I go from what, 0.7 to 0.75 to 0.8. Oh wait, that doesn't feel right. 0.3, 0.7, oh no, to 0.65. Wait. Is that right? Wait, I'm confused. Oh, that's because I need to maybe put this one at the top. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is so now we're going like from the top to the bottom. All right, so maybe actually what I actually want is this to be 0.35. Yeah, all right, now this is making more sense. Okay. And this needs to be what? So I went from, so this needs to be 0. This needs to be logs.height times point, well, it needs to be like 0.33. It's gonna be gross. This needs to be 0.66. Is that true? Let's just see it. Yeah, actually that worked. Yeah, I kind of like that now. Now that I'm staring at it, I kind of like that. So you've got this kind of like triangle of logs. Cool, good enough. I think I'm just about done. Let's try one thing though. Let's test how horribly something breaks if I change my width and height. So I think everything works except my squares. So yeah, so it's square size. What I want to do is maybe have fire square width and fire square height, and I'll set them equal to like width times something. So yeah. I guess I should call it rect, but it's fine. Could just make them multipliers, I guess. Nah, it's fine. Times what? Times 0.1 just to start with, maybe. Whoops. So if I was 500 and actually it should be maybe 0.05, doesn't really matter. I can change these. And then I want to use these down, whoops, down where I draw my fire, which is here. Fire square width and fire square height. Make this rectangle so I don't make them circles. Hit play, see what breaks. Cool, yeah, of course. Square size not defined. Well, of course it's not. Oh, where do I have it? Y is less than square fire square height. Although this is kind of an arbitrary number that I just kind of chose, so that it pops off the top. All right, cool. Is that what I expect? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So they're kind of smushed, but that's okay. The other thing I want to change is my fire width. So like let fire width and fire width equals what? Fire width equals width times 0.1 maybe. And then I want to use that instead of my magic 50 that I had, because right now if I make it smaller, my fire stays kind of the same width. And where was that? So I can get rid of some of this stuff. Buy rocks, buy old logs, buy old ground. This is a little cleaner. I draw stars, ground, and logs all as images. Then here's my magic 50 that I want to get rid of. Yeah. A little gross just because of it's kind of squished, but I think the effect is still valid. All right. Is there anything else I want to do? So my fire starts out as like it doesn't fade out over time. It kind of just fades out really quickly. Let me maybe examine that for a second. So my alpha is what? So it starts out as 25 here. So it goes from 0 to 25. Is that what I actually started out as? Square life. Ooh, what's square life? Oh, that's why right there. So I want this number to be square life. So now they will fade out faster, hopefully. Yeah, cool. I think I like that. I think maybe I could play with this. I could maybe do like times 0.5 here so that they don't fade out right away, but they stay bright for a little bit longer, but they still fade after that. Yeah, I think that looks about right to me. That's pretty cool. I think I'm pretty happy with this. I think this might be about where I leave it. But one thing I could play with just for fun is, so I'm moving this dot y. I could do something like this dot x plus equals, I don't know, a random value between -1 and 1. It's kind of a go-to strategy. Maybe. It's kind of just shaky. I don't know about that. Maybe -5 to 5. Ooh, it's kind of gross. Maybe I do random Gaussian actually. Am I spelling that right? I don't know. I don't know if I love that. What I could do is, I could use sine maybe. Plus equals sine of some number, frame count, times some number, 0.01. I think that'll just make them all kind of move together. I think maybe 0.01 was too small, maybe 0.1. It's kind of like the wind is blowing. That's kind of cute. That's funny. Are they all going together? Yeah, they are. I don't hate it. I could play with this number a little bit more. That's kind of cute. It's kind of got like, if I look at the top, it does seem like more fiery. Maybe. All right, I think I have an idea. I think what I will do is have like, so what did I have? I have this dot speed. All right, I've already figured out some of this stuff. So maybe I do this dot sine offset equals some random number between, oh, it doesn't really matter, 0 and 1,000. And then here's where I would do this dot sign offset plus some number. So now I would just kind of start each square at a different place in the sine wave. Let's see. Ooh. Ooh. I think I'm into that. Cool. Yeah, man, I think that's about right for me. That's not bad. Am I still doing something dumb? Yeah, let me change this back so it's not scrunched. Oh man, that's I'm pretty happy with this actually. I like the dumb logs. I like the fake grass. That's not too shabby. Maybe the brown should actually be gray. Whatever, I'm not gonna obsess over it. I think you can kind of tell what it's supposed to be, and that's what I'm going for. I could maybe make this, I'm tempted to make the sky and the grass also kind of this square effect, just so everything's kind of the same, I don't know, style. Another thing I want to try, just because it's going to be super easy to play with, is make the squares a lot smaller, first of all. And then make a bunch more of them. And where do I do that? Do that here. Yeah, maybe. That's pretty cute. I'm tempted to go a little bit crazy here. Really speed it up. And so now instead of like randomly only adding fire squares, sometimes I'll add 10 every single frame. Go really crazy. My computer might melt, but it'll be worth it. Well, it will definitely melt if I just have syntax errors all over the place. That's funny. Okay. Yep, fan just kicked in, but I'm into that. That looks cool. I think I am going to change it back, but I just kind of wanted to see this effect. That's cool. Yeah, all right, everyone calm down. Computer fan, calm down. And let me put this back to some number. I don't remember what I had it before. Let me put this number back to some normal number. Fine. I've had my fun. Yeah, I mean, it's a different effect, so you can kind of play with that to try different things, but I kind of like this. This gets closer to my original idea. One thing I might do, let me play with those squares real quick. So instead of points, maybe what I'll do is stars dot, let's do a square just because I'm probably going to change this back anyway. And at what? Maybe 10. Or just 10. So stroke of 255, stars dot fill of 255. Maybe I make that random. Ooh, gross. No, I don't like it. What happens if I do a stroke of 0? Does that look any better? No, I don't like that. Maybe it's too many. I don't know. I don't hate it. What do you guys think? Do we like the points better, or do we like the squares better? It's kind of like a chunkier star. I think I would like the stars a lot better if they never overlapped, but I'm way too lazy to figure that part out. Maybe. Maybe I'll make this 5. That's not bad. I'm not sure if it's any better than the points though. I mean, a point is really like a square with a size of 1, pretty much. I could do something like stars.stroke weight 2, maybe make it just a little bigger. Maybe that's right. Okay, I don't hate that. Do they end up being circles? Yeah, it's kind of gross. Kind of wish they were squares. There might be a way to do that. Maybe a way to specify, but whatever. I mean, 2 is going to be pretty square anyway. All right, I'm going to call that. I'm going to call that what I want. All right. So what can I change here? Stroke doesn't. Fill doesn't matter. All right, let me get rid of this stuff. Okay, fine. So that's kind of, there's a kind of squares. I can go back and forth. But one thing I do want to maybe play with is this this ground, which right now that's kind of the odd thing out. It's kind of the only thing that doesn't play with the idea of squares. So maybe instead of doing a line here, I do a square again, and maybe I do like ground dot. What do I want? Square? Yeah, let's try it. Square. And then I want kind of this whole thing. And maybe just try 10 just for starters. And this needs to be fill. Do I want a stroke? Let's just see what it looks like. Ooh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Yeah. Okay. I like that better, I think. I think maybe my greens get a little too bright, actually. So I think I'm going to stick with squares. I think maybe I'll do fire square width kind of arbitrarily here. It's easy enough to do. Wait, no, I don't want that. It's way too big. Let's just keep it 10. It doesn't really matter. My ground will always be kind of the same style, no matter what the width and height is, and I can live with that. But maybe this 64 is too large now. Maybe I want it to be 32. It could go either way. Maybe 50. Sure, let's call that. Okay. Am I done? Am I done? Is there anything else I can do? Let's think. So I am pretty dang happy with this. This is not bad for a Sunday afternoon of messing around on the last day of January. But let's see. Let's play with this number here. So right now it's 0.75, and I kind of like that. Let's just try a couple different numbers though. 0.5 is just a little quieter, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I think you can make your fire either very, very fiery or, a little smaller. Kind of depends on what you're going for. But man, I'm pretty happy with that. Could have done all of this with circles, but I don't know, I kind of like the squares. Yeah, man, I think I'm happy. Could maybe move my logs down. Now I'm getting real obsessive over it. Actually, that's relatively easy to do. So I will move, and here's like the payoff. So instead of starting my logs at 0.7, I'll start them at 0.72. A little lower. Yeah, so they don't quite like intersect like directly with the horizon. Yeah, I like that. Maybe my fire should start a little bit. And maybe instead of 0.72, it's like 0.67. So a little above the horizon. Yeah, okay. Whatever, you can play with that if you want, but I'm pretty happy with that, and I don't think it makes a huge difference. Okay, am I done? I think I might be done. How long is this video so far? Hour 40? If you're still here, thank you for watching this far, and come say hi, because we just spent the last like 2 hours coding together, so we are friends now. So don't hesitate to reach out, please. I would love to hear from you. All right, let me just maybe go over the code one more time, look for opportunities to clean it up, and talk through it. So I create some variables up here that I'll use later. They're nothing too exciting, but they let me track my width and height, and that means that my code will work no matter what width and height I throw at it here. So if I make it really small, I mean it's scrunched up, but it still works. And that's because of the way I'm basing all of my calculations off of like multipliers of width and height. So my fire square width is my width times some number. So as my width gets bigger or smaller, my fire squares will get bigger and smaller. So I set those variables in my setup function, and I create like some placeholder color variables, and I probably don't need them there, but it's fine. Let's see, what else? So this rect mode center, I don't know if it actually came in handy after all, but it means that my fire squares, I'm drawing them from the center of their squares instead of from the corner. Let's just get rid of that and see what it looks like for a second. I might even prefer that, actually. Yeah, now that I'm drawing my logs not centered either, I actually think I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. Fine. So anyway, I don't do that anymore, so forget that. But here's where the sketch gets maybe a little bit interesting, because I'm using this create graphics function, which lets me draw sort of static scenes that I then use in a dynamic scene. So instead of having to redraw these stars every frame like individually, I draw them ahead of time. I draw them to a canvas, and then I store that in my stars canvas. Same deal for ground, same deal for these logs. So I draw them to these canvas objects, which lets me use them later. The logs logic is pretty gnarly looking, but it's creating a for loop that creates this kind of grid effect. And you can play with some of these numbers, maybe change this to something else, maybe 0.05, and see what it does. It'll change the spacing of the logs. I kind of like that grid effect, so I'm going to keep it, but you can try different things. I play this trick a couple times where I do lerp color with a random number to get a number or a color between two colors without having to do any math myself. That's just me being lazy. But then when I get to draw, that's where the idea of drawing to canvases pays off, because to draw my stars, ground, and logs, it's 3 lines of code, because I paste the images into my canvas. Then I randomly add a kind of randomly placed fire square. I probably should have come up with a better name for that, but whatever, fire square, to my array based on this random chance. So if this goes up, then I'll create more. If it goes down, I'll create fewer. And I use this random Gaussian so that it's kind of centered around the center point with this kind of bell curve effect. So there are fewer points out here than there are in here, which, I don't know, I guess that's how a real fire works. Then I iterate over my fire squares, and I do it backwards so that I can remove a square without skipping anything. And actually, while I'm here, and since this video is already 2 hours long, I might as well just fill out even more time. Let's do this. Let's do this forward so I can show you what I mean. Less than fire squares dot length I plus plus. So take a second to kind of watch how this animation works, and then I'm going to hit play, and let's see if we notice the difference. I'm not sure if you'll notice the difference since they fade out anyway, but let's see. No, you can't really tell the difference, and that's because how into this do I want to get? Let's do 255 here. Yeah, okay. Now you'll notice that effect is way more prominent, because what's happening up here is when I move, or when I remove one of my fire squares, I actually skip drawing the next square. And so you see this kind of flashing effect, which, I know, it might look cool, but it's not what I was going for. So that's why I loop backwards, which gets rid of that effect. So here's the bad style, and now here's the good style. So now you don't, the squares still go away, but you don't see that weird like flashing effect, which, you know, I prefer. So let me put that code back. Let me change this back to alpha. But that's why I loop backwards. All right, now they fade out over time. So it doesn't actually make a difference anyway, since they fade out over time. So maybe I didn't really need to do that, but it's a good habit to get into anyway. So it just feels more correct. But anyway, I tell each fire square to draw itself, and then if it goes off the top of the screen, or if it is too old, then I remove it using the splice function. And then the rest of the logic is sort of internal to the fire square class. I have a constructor that sets up some reasonable starting values, and then in draw I make the square go up, I decrease its life, and maybe I'll move some of this code around, so yeah, it's fine. And then I base its alpha on the age of the square. So older squares they fade out, and then I draw my rectangle. And the effect is this kind of pixelated fire, this campfire I'm calling it. Maybe I should have drawn tint or something. So that was a long video to write 100 lines of code, but I'm into it. I think that was cool. And to circle back, oh, I hate that I said circle back, oh my god. To maybe go back to what we all started this, my whole point here, or the whole motivation, was this oblique strategy card. Remember those quiet evenings? And I guess maybe I should have prepared with like a picture of like when I used to go camping, but this is me remembering when I used to sit around a campfire a lot more often than I do now. Maybe I should get back into it. Quarantine, man, it's rough. But all of that was like unwinding. That was to do the last day of January. So I'm going to post this as my last January entry, and check out what everyone else is doing. It's been a lot of fun. But yeah, so I think I'm going to end it here. So a couple things you could try. So I've pointed out a few things throughout. You could play with some of the patterns I've used. I went with a bunch of squares, but nothing stopping you from making your fire out of triangles, or make it look more realistic, or make your squares smaller, and maybe there's more of them, maybe there's less of them, that kind of thing. You could play with like the scene itself. So I added stars to my sky. Maybe you add a moon, or maybe there's mountains in the background. If I had, I'm kind of getting a little bit tired and I want to take a break, but I think that would be the next thing that I add, is making this this horizon a little bit more interesting. Right now it's just kind of a straight line, but it's fine. But yeah, there's some things you could try. You could also try to get a little bit more like abstract. So right now I am like, my fire is pretty realistic because it's red, orange, and yellow, but there's nothing stopping you from doing something like this, where this dot color equals color random 255 random 255 random 255, my favorite line of code. And now you've got this weird like neon fire. Maybe it's a space fire or something. I don't know, but you could play with that. Or maybe it's shades of, maybe it's never red at all. Maybe it's just shades of blue and green. And I don't know exactly what kind of fire that would be, but you could play with it. Different artistic options there. You could make the scene look more realistic. So I used logs, to like just random squares as my logs, and I'm fine with that. But you could make it look more realistic. You could also make this more pixelated by making sure like all your squares are the same size and that they never overlap, and it like conforms to more of a grid. That could be interesting. You can maybe think of that as being like in a 8-bit or a 16-bit video game. What would a campfire look like? Yeah, so there's some ideas. If you do come up with something that's like a remix of this code, I would love to see it. So don't hesitate to either comment or come say hi on happycoding.io. Same thing if you have questions, or if you're not sure like why a line of code works the way it does, or why I chose to do things a certain way. Leave a comment, or better yet, come to happycoding.io and come to our forum, and I would love to hear from you and see what you're working on. So don't be a stranger. But yeah, all right, cool. I think this is it for me. I'm going to post this as my final January. It has been a pleasure doing these last few days of January with y'all. And if you've watched any of those videos, thank you so much. It's been awesome. I'll keep doing these, but January is over, so I'm back to coming up with my own ideas, which is its own set of challenges. Anyway, all of that's problems for future Kevin, and he can deal with that when the time comes. But for now, I'm really happy with this. So thank you for watching. Have a lovely day. Maybe go camping if you can, if you're not quarantined. And you can enjoy a quiet evening yourself. And hey, if you can't, maybe just put this on your screen for a while and sit back and just watch it. I wish I could poke it with a stick or toast a marshmallow or something. Anyway, I just ramble at the end of these. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. And as always, of course, happy coding.